co-leader of the Maori Party, Debbie Ngarewa-Packer. Thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate you giving us a few minutes.
Kei te pai. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Nice to see you again. I'm digging the what you've got behind you there. That's a very cool scene where we're looking at.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm in my regional office, so we've all been virtual, which has been crazy. So everyone around here has been virtually.
Thanks for virtually being with us. Hey, look, I wanted to set up. I've got a conversation potentially with David Seymour at some stage. I don't know. People cancel all the time about his statements around Māori co-governance, and I wanted to basically, firstly, come to Māori and say, and you know, it's not like the right reply. I just want to have a chat with you about it, what it's all about, because I'm looking right now at a Stuff article that talks about co-governance, a bland phrase that is laden with meaning, a prefix that has the power to make the right froth at the mouth and the left quiver with fear. So what it says to me at the moment, there's a lot of confusion around what Māori co-governance is, and I really wanted you guys to be able to help us understand, me as well, understand firstly what we're even talking about when we talk about Māori co-governance.
I mean, I think first of all, it's always confusing when things are politicized and brought up for a national discussion for probably some of the wrong reasons. So there are and have been existing co-governance models for a very long time, and we've seen it with iwi in some of the health entities. We've seen it with the councils. We've seen it with environmental kaupapa. And to be honest, most of the models are based around having a say and having some joint responsibility on matters of concern. And to be honest, they work really well, because if they didn't, you would know them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real unfortunate thing, is that in Te Ao Māori, when we do things really well, you never hear about it. When we don't do it, you always hear about it. And I think so it's been passed around like stale bread or something, but actually it's value added, and it's kaupapa that's been working in partnerships for a long time. But so you go. Sorry, I can see you've got something.
I was just going to say, here's an example, because when I've started to do my research on the topic, because I want to know about it, straight away I came up with Te Waihora co-governance scheme. This appears to be working in Christchurch at the moment, and it's a co-governance between a local group, a local iwi, and also local government in general. It's the Environment Canterbury. So this is the kind of thing you're talking about that no one knows about, that seems to be working. And I
guess it's been working for years. And the thing is that these are really great partnership of capacity and relationships going on. And again, it's not just in the environment space; it's in the health space. This Te Kauaumaro is another example of partnership here in Taranaki, where there is the security of not sharing just resources, but most importantly, that power of being able to be together, making decisions for the best of a wider community. Everyone talks about, and probably way too much, and don't really understand how it manifests on the ground. So everyone talks about governance as though it's some sort of, I think that it's been put around like a boogeyman, and you be careful, all you people who are scared of change, the Māori boogeyman's going to come and get you, and it's going to usurp you, and it's going to take your goods and your everything that you value. And it's just like it's been going on for a long time. And in settlements, every time iwi settle, now let's go there.
Yeah.
If we look at the aroha and the love that Māori organisations give to the nation, most iwi accept settlements that are 1%, if not less, of the total loss. And remember, this is not loss that's debated. This is theft of their land, murdering of their ancestors, deliberately designed and predetermined, and they accept 1% of that compensation to then be able to come together and help and build a stronger Aotearoa. So there is the boogeyman fear of being put out there to everyone to make it look like, oh gosh, this bunch of natives that are setting up and they're going to attack us in our sleep. I don't know where it's coming from. But the other side of Te Tiriti, now, if we go there, Māori are sort of saying, well, look, we'll partner because it's our obligation to be just as good of a treaty partner as tangata tiriti. Now, that's not a singular nation. That's a nation that has tangata whenua and everyone else that lives here. During the tiriti, it was obviously predominantly British. But now it's everyone. And I have friends, my mum's Irish, and whānau members that love and take seriously their role as tangata tiriti. So the other part of it is that you'll often hear Māori say, by Māori, for Māori. Kei te pai, David, if you don't want to be in a partnership with us, we'll look after ourselves. But, that's okay. That's fine. So we will look after our own well-being, and we will look after here. Under te tiriti, actually, we're meant to be 50-50. So we'll just go off our own way and assert our tino rangatiratanga. In fact, what we have is a nation of leaders and current leaders today who are saying, let's do this together.
Well, I guess the other question I have, and I know we've got a very limited time today, is this is now being brought up, and I guess it's been put in the media. I don't know whether that's the media hyping it up or ACT hyping it up, or it's actually is as big as this. It now appears that when it's been talked about co-governance, it's more of a national, a new national plan. In other words, there is something happening at a governmental level where the elected body is going to be, working alongside and with Māori for the decision making moving forward. Is that an exaggeration? Are we not talking about that? But so why is it such a big word or series of words today on a national level?
I think it's the boogeyman. I think it's a scary thing because there is proposition for change, and I think it's necessary to address that. And I think to address change is just as provocative of us saying, actually, the history that we're teaching in our education system, it's got one version. And we need to talk about the other things in the room, like colonization and how our history didn't start from this point. And I think that also comes with, let's talk about evolving te tiriti, because, it's accepted. The courts have accepted it. The international bodies accept it. And I think, so what we're talking about now is the maturing of a nation to actually be able to look each other in the eye without blaming anyone today and accept it is what it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly of our past and how we got here. But most importantly, how do we continue to move forward, embracing that we're not in Europe, we are a Pacifica nation, and there are some things that actually we need to go back to, including the beauty of having Indigenous people in Aotearoa. And so I think for a long time, there were a lot of legislation that stopped Māori from being Māori, from speaking, from having their land, from having our own rangatira, from having our own health. And that has hurt. There's a reason why Māori are dying 7.5 years earlier than non-Māori. There's a reason why we're as displaced. And it's not about proportioning blame. It's actually about addressing the solution. And the solution requires change. And people don't, and it's not everyone. In fact, in my life, I'm so blessed that I hear most tangata tiriti who are excited about what this means. But there are a certain ilk that this would mean, and to be honest, those who are moaning and most upset are the ones who have the most to lose.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it is a shift of power. It is a shift of culture. It is a shift of maturity. It is about accepting and remembering to remember who we were.
Can you, I guess this is much time for my last question. You've mentioned the word change 3 or 4 times. That means there is a way we're doing things now that is, insert your own word, not working, not fair, whatever the right word is, and there's a way you'd like to see things done. Can you just bring a quick tangible example to what you're talking about? What's not working now that with co-governance you think will be working better?
What's not working now is, and I actually think, to be honest, it's not about co-governance. I think there's some things that we actually need to do for ourselves. And I think what's not working now is that Māori are dying earlier, they're unwell. And when we're unwell, we can't learn. And when we can't learn, we don't earn. And when we can't earn, we cannot be living equally in this beautiful country. And I think the list all comes back from the very beginning that we are not thriving. Māori are not thriving in their own nation. And there's a whole lot of government policies and spending for, to make us well. There's a whole lot of treasury investment. There's a whole lot of people trying to help. But the reality is, and it's like anything, if you're not an artist, you shouldn't be advising how to become an artist. And it's the same thing for us as Maori. If you're not Maori, if it's not your problem, no matter how well-intended and how many trillions of dollars you throw at us, it's never going to work. And I think there's been 180 years of patience from everybody. And you can get why non-Maori will sit there and say, oh, Maoris have had all this thrown at them. Oh, gosh, when will it end? The reality is sometimes they have, but it hasn't been done by the right people. So it is about sort of saying, thank you, acknowledgements to everyone and all your best efforts. But Christ, please don't let us do this for another 180 years.
Yeah.
Because it's not working. And the stats, this isn't Debbie's, saying it's actually stats, science, facts, research, history has showed us. And I think what we have is this beautiful intent. And let's remember, when the treaty was signed, there was more Maori than non. The emphasis of it was that we would come together and have a unity of strengths to make the best nation. Someone's been left behind. And that was never predicted, and we need to address that. That is what needs to be addressed. And we can't do it the same way it's been done, because we keep doing it that way. Keep doing what you do, you get what you get.
Have you got 60 more seconds? One more question?
Sure, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, sure have.
Rawiri, I think either said today or in the last couple of days about floated an idea, it seems like it's in the media, about lowering the pension age for Māori because of exactly what you're saying, the 7-year life expectancy gap, which actually on some levels, I think it's 7-year for men, it's lesser for women, but that's actually, so in other words, for female Māori, so that's actually going to the lesser amount. I thought was actually very generous as well. Is this a Maori Party policy right now, or is this an idea floating around? And also, I guess I wanted to ask if, and I haven't got an example for you, I apologize about this, if there was examples out there where through no fault of their own, through no choices anyone's made, life expectancies were lessened, that we'd also want to support seeing the pension age lowered for those people as well.
Yeah, look, I think it's for anyone. And I think at the moment, obviously we always will have a lens for Māori Pacifica disabled whānau, because those are who we're largely lobbied by as well, and represent. But the other part of it is that any setting that's been set according to, and we have stats that say that Māori Pacifica bodies are obese because we're being measured against again, like I say, my mother's Irish and she's a thoroughbred. My father is not, he's Pacifica body. And for years we were measured against a body weight that doesn't fit Pacifica people. Gotcha. I think if we change the dial so our policy is to address the settings. We're a small nation. We do not need to have the disparities and inequities that we have. We can actually address and adjust them and future proof ourselves in a way that makes sure that we don't have to forever have this cycle that's just, growing between the haves and the have not, the well and the unwell. And I think, to just adjust the dial to match those and the lifestyles that they've got. Otherwise, you're forever trying to reach a milestone that you're genetically or culturally or a whole of other reasons not ever meeting. And so you're actually disadvantaged. We saw that in the rollout of the vaccine when those who were 65 plus got vaccinated, but Māori's population, 70% are under 40.
Yeah.
So a large proportion of Māori were missed out, and they were therefore, so you get my drift. So I think we're just not all, we're not all built the same. We're not all made the same. We're not all don't have the same advantage. And there's some things that we can do to circuit break that. There's some things we need to do now.
Excellent. Co-leader of the Maori Party, Debbie Ngarewa-Packer. Hey, thank you for giving us some time and a couple of extra minutes there at the end. Appreciate your time and all the best.
Thank you. Stay well. Cheers,